Hey y'all, so for this video I had wrote out a note to my mom. It's a little long, but since today is New Year's Eve, I wanted to get this video made, read this out, and just drop it out of my life. So, here we go. Dear Mother, Mary Picard, I know from personal experience that there is no handbook on how to be the best parent or how to raise your child the best way. But what I just can't wrap my mind around is how the fuck you could do such horrible things and put me through so much shit that I should have mentally, emotionally, and physically been destroyed. I know that I myself should have spoken up sooner than I did, so that way I wouldn't have been molested by the love of your life for 7 years of my life. But I was a kid, and you were supposed to be my mother. When I finally broke down and told Auntie Pam that day, I remember it like it was yesterday. She had Uncle Steve drive me home. We were living with Mammy and Papu on Ritter Street in Nashua, New Hampshire. Uncle Steve told you I had something to talk to you about, and he was so pissed off, so you ended up bringing me into the bathroom to talk. I was hysterically in tears, and I told you Matt had been touching me in inappropriate places, and that I was scared, and he threatened to hurt my Nana and everyone I loved if I said anything. And you grabbed my face with both hands and said everything is okay, and that Uncle Steve and all his friends held you down and raped you when you were younger, and you got over it, so I should get over it too. My whole life you always chose men over your children. You still loved him and wanted to be with him after I told you. When Papu drove us to the Nashua Police Department to put in a statement on Matt, we sat in the waiting room for the detectives to come in, and you told me not to do this to you, that you loved him and you couldn't live without him, and how you would wake up sometimes and find Paul passed out on the floor in my room. So it had to have been him that was doing it, and not Matt, and Matt was innocent, blah, blah, blah. I lied for you. I said it was Paul, like you told me to. I sent an actual innocent man to jail because of you. Well, I had to live my life living with a man who actually did it. Constantly moving between guys' houses, Mammy and Papa's house, and Major Drive housing. What about Randy? The man who was encouraging and taunting me to actually go through with it and kill myself when I had came out and told you that I was suicidal. You remember what you did after that? You let me sleep over my best friend's house at the time, and you abandoned me for a year. A whole year. Thank fucking God her and her mom took care of me and didn't just call social services. Then one day you finally showed up. All happy to see me, telling me you got your own place and how it was going to be just me and you and everything would be perfect. Yeah. That lasted, 2 weeks? Before you met a new guy who you brought home from the bar? Now don't get me wrong, Kevin was a great guy, and I don't blame him for leaving you. But we moved into his place within a couple months. But I guess it was better than living in an attic and always being alone. Until one day it all went to shit, and he kicked us out, because you couldn't stop lying, stealing, and cheating. So after staying a while in the shelter, we finally got a place of our own again, and you were never home, always out partying, sleeping at different men's houses, until one day you brought Travis home. Travis was a great man, who you took advantage of, and that ended horribly as well. You and Travis got into this huge fight, and you both ended up getting arrested. So I had a backpack packed to leave. So I grabbed it, and I took off running. In the snow, freezing, I ended up going to Shannon's house. And soon after, she agreed to let us live there until we found a place. Until she couldn't take the way you treated me, or took care of me. having to go to high school with dirty clothes because you decided that the outfit you needed to wear the next day to go out partying in was more important to be washed. Well, back to the shelter it was. Then again, we got our own place, and then you let Corey move in. And then Matt, while you were sleeping over the guy's place in the building next door. Then one day, Matt brought a friend over, Bob. Bob was around 6'5", and 6'11" foot easy, and had short gray hair and glasses. I was playing Gran Turismo on my PlayStation 2. You gave Corey $100 to go do something with his friends, and you told me that we were going to go out and do something in a little while. So I continued to play my game. You and Matt went into your bedroom, and Bob came and sat next to me. Kept asking me questions, and I continued to ignore him and play my game. And then he grabbed my knee and squeezed it so hard, it felt like he shattered my bones. And he told me to have respect for my elders, and that this time was not cheap. I was very confused about that for a while. But Matt, the man who molested me for 7 years, came to my rescue. He came out of your room, straight picked Bob up, and brought him outside. I sat there and cried, and I tried to put the pieces together of what had just happened. Well, a few days later, I had missed my bus, and I had to get a ride to school from Matt. Well, on that ride, he told me how Bob gave you $750 to be left alone with me for a few hours, and you took it. And Matt said he had no idea until you told him while you were in the bedroom, and that's when he came out and took him outside. I randomly looked up child rapists around me one day, and guess who I found? Bob. He also goes by Robert. Like, what the fuck? Who sells their child to a child rapist? Oh yeah, my mother. But I want you to know that I thank you for everything. At least you have a warrior for a child. Because if not, you would probably have a dead one. Just recently I had you come up for Thanksgiving, and you robbed me. You stole a bunch of my clothes and everything else. I let it get to me. I'm not gonna lie. I was expecting it, but I wanted to give you the benefit of the doubt. Well, you let me down again. You left your phone in the gas station and wanted me to ship it to you. You were more worried about your phone than you were about me or your grandson. I was so upset that I went and I factory reset your phone, and I gave it to Aiden as a Christmas present. I told you what I did, and you started talking all kinds of shit, telling me to never ask you for anything, and not to depend on you anymore. Newsflash, I've never depended on you for anything in my life. Yeah, you've sent me some money a couple times within the last 3 months or so, because taxes are coming, and you've even said it every time we talk. Don't forget about me when you get your taxes. But the last thing you said to me was, whatever, have a nice life, with 2 peace signs. Well, I took you off my friends list and blocked you. Thank you again for showing me that even blood can be toxic, and that cutting myself does nothing, but cutting you out can be the best detox there is out there. Peace, love, and happiness. Marlena, December 2018.